We got another epic and informative chapter, and it starts with one of the most emotionally charged moments in the entire God Valley flashback. Rox D. Zebek lying on the battlefield, defeated but still conscious, while Roger and Garp have already left the scene. Even in this weakened state, Rox is still speaking to himself, reflecting on the battle that has just ended and on the burden he has carried for years. His first words, telling Roger and Garp to run, again show his vulnerable side. And such vulnerability in a character as strong as Rox is what makes him one of the best written characters Oda has ever created. Instead of the monstrous tyrant the world remembers, he is dying as a man whose final act is to protect his opponents. Yes, Roger and Garp were never his enemies, but they weren't friends either. This moment becomes even more powerful when Garling, Summers, and Maffey arrive. The three men approach Rox like executioners, but who are still somewhat afraid of him. Much like Blackbeard, his father believes in fate as well, and he was ready to die even before going to God Valley. Rox accepts what is coming, thanking them for stopping his rampage. His death makes this character even more layered and more human. I would never have predicted that such a powerful character would have such a tragic ending. He is the only member of the D clan who died without a smile on his face. Then we see a montage of the aftermath of God Valley. We see major figures of the Rox pirates, Newgate, Linlin, Kaido, and even Shaki, reacting in their own ways to the end of an era. At the same time, the island of God Valley begins to sink into the ocean. The Mother Flame didn't exist at that time, and every strange event has an explanation in One Piece, so I hope we'll get one for this soon. Was it Emu? Did Emu use one of the ancient weapons? Another option is that the combined Conqueror's Haki of Rox, Garp, and Roger sank the island, but to me that's less likely. I also want to mention that Oda drew another great parallel between Luffy's and Roger's crews. In Alabasta, Zoro and Sanji saved Luffy and Smoker from drowning. At God Valley, Roger's two strongest crewmates, Rayleigh and Skopper-Gaban, saved Roger and Garp. Both crews saved a Marine, the very people who were chasing their captains without even thinking. Then we see Roger returning to the Oro Jackson to treat his wounds. Inside a treasure chest, he hears a strange noise. When he opens it, he finds baby Shanks smiling inside. The panel mirrors the one from Film Red's special volume, tying Shanks' origin neatly into the canon timeline. One difference is that Roger has his mustache, which was actually his nose hair in Film Red. Roger and Shanks' relationship, and later Shanks himself, changed a lot of things in the world. Shanks is the reason why Luffy became a pirate. Shanks is the one who stopped Kaido from going to Marineford, and then stopped the Marineford War, and so on. All of these things happened thanks to Dragon and his decision to trust his instincts and morals instead of the laws of the world government. In this chapter, we see Dragon locked in a cell where Garp comes to visit him. This is their only encounter that we've seen in the series so far. They have a brief, tense conversation. Dragon tells Garp he wants to quit the Navy. Instead of anger, Garp responds with a simple, "Yeah." Dragon then shouts, "I despise you," and Garp again replies with another quiet, "Yeah." This small exchange reveals a lot about their relationship. Garp clearly understands Dragon's pain, perhaps even agrees with him, but refuses to express it openly. Meanwhile, Dragon's words carry years of resentment, disappointment, and ideological conflict. It becomes clearer than ever why Dragon decided to become a revolutionary. At the end of the scene, Garp gives the cell keys to Dragon and lets him go free. Everything makes sense, except for one thing. Why does a Kainu hate Dragon? At that time, Dragon was just a weak, random marine who couldn't seriously harm a Kainu. Did they encounter each other after that? I hope Oda reveals these details as well. This 17-year-old went on to become the most wanted man in the entire world, the one who will free all slaves and civilians from the corrupted celestial dragons. From here, we go back to Elbaf, focusing specifically on Harald and the consequences he faces after the incident. Harald is shown stopping a giant who was attacking a human town, not out of hatred but out of rage and sorrow. He punches the giant several times, overwhelmed by guilt for failing to help Rox and for failing to uphold his own ideals of peace. We also see Loki's reaction. His desire to join the Rox pirates came from the belief that Rox was the god Nika who wanted to destroy the world, but Rox told him that he was not a god. He just wanted to become the king of the world. For me, this answer parallels Luffy. Luffy has said many times that he's not a hero. He just wants to be the pirate king and eat meat. Rox once again mentioned the Galaila giants, and we'll return to this topic soon. The chapter then moves toward Harald's journey. We see him preparing to set sail from Elbaf, saying goodbye to his family and friends. He declares that he'll devote everything to his mission. He tells Harald and Loki, his two sons, that he loves them and wants them to work together, a scene we've already seen before, and now it makes sense plot-wise as well. Harald decides to go directly to Marineford to speak with the Marines and the world government. In front of the high officials of the Navy, Harald kneels down and pulls out his own horns, the symbol of ancient giant pride. He offers them to the Marines, his face covered in blood, begging for a chance to atone for the last 1,000 years of sins committed by the giants. He declares his wish to apologize for all the mistakes of his people. He just wants the children of Elbaf to live without hurting anyone, and for this to happen, he's even ready to become a slave. The chapter ends ominously. As Harald makes his plea, the final panel shows Emu's eyes. This suggests that the highest authority in the world has taken notice of Harald's actions, but I don't think Emu is surprised nor happy about Harald's begging. Something in this scene triggered Emu's memories. Harald is a hard character to understand, and unlike Odin, who had everything in his own hands, Harald simply did not. From God Valley up until he died, Harald did everything to please the world government so they would accept Elbaf, yet there are no signs that trade was open or that giants were welcomed before he died. He sacrificed for 24 years and still didn't achieve his goal. At the same time, he punished himself for not helping his friend Rox and blamed himself for Rox's death. Harald and Otohime are two sides of the same coin. Even though it was Otohime's life goal for Fishman Island to move to the surface, she never forced it and instead waited for all fishmen to feel comfortable enough to sign a petition. Harald is a tragic character, and no matter how hard he tried for his country, it seems that he failed. The only redemption he could have is if he calculated this God Valley type scenario for Elbaf in the future, so he planned his death to let Loki get the devil fruit. He trusted that Loki would save Elbaf. This could mean Zebek told him the truth about that devil fruit, and he probably did. We saw that during their talk, Rox even revealed that he's from the Davy clan and that he kept his family safe at God Valley. In this chapter, we also saw that he shared information about the devil fruit with Loki, so he was truly open about his personal life and personal interests. Roger asked Harald to join his crew many times, and I'm 100% sure that Rox revealed his plan to the king to make him join the Rox pirates. Harald knew about Rox's plan and about the true power of the devil fruit for sure. Maybe he even knew that he was not the one meant to awaken and control the Galaila giants. It was Loki. And it's clear that it's Loki. Even his different eye color and shape hint at this. He is a child of prophecy like Luffy. The way Luffy ate a devil fruit and became the sun god Nika, that same way Loki ate a devil fruit and became another sun god, the destroyer of the world. Loki is the one who will control the Galaila giants in the final war. I already have a separate video explaining this in full detail that you can watch right here. But the main question now is, whose side will he stand on? Will Loki help Luffy, or will he ultimately support Blackbeard? Luffy is the protagonist, but we can't rely on that when predicting Oda's writing. Blackbeard is the main villain of the entire story, and Oda clearly favors him a lot in terms of depth, mystery, and long-term planning. Loki is not a final prize character, so his allegiance isn't locked in. He could realistically help either side depending on the circumstances. On the surface, it seems Luffy has the advantage. Loki and Luffy already built a friendly bond, and Luffy even asked him to join the Straw Hat crew. Their personalities match, straightforward, impulsive, childlike at times, but with a deep core of loyalty and justice. If Loki wants freedom for Elbaf, Luffy is the perfect ally. But Blackbeard is not out of the picture. In fact, Loki might end up being one of the most important variables in Teach's rise. Blackbeard is the son of Rox D. Zebek, the man Loki admired as a godlike figure. As I already mentioned, Loki once believed Rox was Nika himself, the god who would destroy the world. Even after Rox corrected him, Loki's fascination never disappeared. He saw Rox as the ultimate symbol of rebellion and strength. So when Blackbeard appears, the man who inherited Rox's will, ideology, and ambition, Loki may see him as the continuation of the dream he once followed. Both Loki and Teach share several thematic connections. Both were outsiders to their own people. Both have childhood experiences tied to loss and destiny. Both believe in the idea of a world-shaking future. Both have inherited the consequences of Rox's actions. If Loki learns that Teach is Zebek's biological son, or simply the successor of his ideals, he might feel emotionally pulled toward him. Loki's entire world changed because of Rox. His motivations, identity, and even the devil fruit he ended up eating are tied to Rox's words. Supporting Blackbeard might feel like honoring the man he once looked up to. From Blackbeard's perspective, Loki could be the perfect key to unlocking the ancient power he seeks. Blackbeard has a plan for everything, and of course, he would have a plan for his most important goal as well. If Rox knew about the Galela giants, then Teach knows about them too. And once he learns that Loki is the key to controlling them, he will want Loki as his crewmate. We also learn that Blackbeard doesn't share the same hair color as neither Zebek nor Eris, which raises an interesting question. Could this be connected to his abnormal body? There are already some ideas that say he may be an experimental child, but I don't think that's true. My next video will be about Blackbeard, his lineage, and his connection to the Galela giants, so make sure you subscribe to not miss it. Overall, this chapter was one of the most emotionally layered entries in the God Valley flashback. The next chapter might be the end of Loki's backstory, and before that, if you want to know more about Rox and other Davy D clan members, you can click this video right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.